You know what? I was just thinking about it. Yeah, new, old, kind of. Yeah, exactly. I've been in since Are you going to come up here and stand with me? We did talk about it.
Trick, call.
Probably be a liability.
Because she's not gonna. Okay. Where is Courtney? I'm waiting for Courtney too. I don't know if she has everybody here.
We need to call him back now.
Right? I'm not even asking my next time. That's what you call back.
We're just waiting for Doug Howell. She said just a couple minutes. You have somebody. She's calling him right now. Oh, she's right there. We're just waiting a couple minutes. They're just waiting for one more person to show up. Sure, you can be up here. And then if any questions come, you're happy to answer. If you want to.
I'll go wherever you tell me.
Don't say that.
Okay, that's fine. Yep.
That's an offer.
Well, I won't tell that to everybody.
Everybody looks as somebody walks through. So Valerie, you want to say anything? Yeah, we're just waiting for Doug Howell from the school district. Yeah. questions? Anything from him for, are we okay to go? Okay. Alrighty, we're going to go ahead and get started. We thank everybody for coming.
Do we want Doug in here? I think Doug.
Yeah, come on over, Doug.
Sure. Speaks it up. We need Doug.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, can everybody hear okay? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say a statement, and then we're also going to have the school district, to make a statement as well. And then at the end, if anybody has any questions, we'll do our best to get those answered for you. So we want to thank everyone for coming. We are here to provide an update on the structure fire that took place today at Highland High School on April 21st at 3:57 a.m. After the notice of the fire, a full response was dispatched to the fire. A full response entails 4 engines, 2 ambulances, and a battalion chief. Chubbuck Fire was also requested and sent resources to aid in suppression efforts. Crews have been working diligently to suppress the fire, and as of 12:37 today, the fire was contained. Crews are currently working on mopping up any hot spots. The fire has been contained to the D portion of the building, which houses the main gym, the cafeteria, band, and the choir rooms. There is some smoke and water damages to other portions of the building, but there is no fire damage. We were made aware of some classroom pets in other portions of the building, and we have worked with school officials to get those pets removed. The investigation is ongoing, and this is going to be a joint effort between the Pocatello Fire Department, the Pocatello Police Department, the State Fire Marshal's Office, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. This investigation can take several days. We want to thank all the agencies who have reached out and offered assistance and resources, as well as several community organizations who have provided food and water for emergency responders. We ask the community to avoid the area while emergency responders continue to work and investigators do their job to determine the cause of the fire. We are also asking if the public can avoid flying drones over the area to allow the investigators to do their job. We will try to provide updates as soon as we have information available. Also, we wanted to mention that our fire chief wishes he could be here today. He's currently back at the Executive Fire Officer course at the National Fire Academy, but he has been involved in this the entire time and is monitoring it and continues to give feedback on that. So I'm going to turn it over now to Richard Bigelow, who's our city building official, and he can comment on his portion.
Thank you. My name is Richard Bigelow. I'm the building official for the city of Pocatello. Just want to let you know that our main purpose as a city to make sure that this building's safe now that the fire's done. Once the investigation's over, we'll be working with structural engineers, mechanical and electrical engineers to find a way to get power and gas back onto the buildings so that we can try to get in as soon as possible, but also know that there's other mitigations that needs to go on in that building with water from fighting the fire, and that our ultimate goal is to have a safe structure for the children and the staff that's in that facility.
Could you spell your last name, please?
Bigelow.
Yeah, I think Courtney mentioned you wanted him to talk, right?
Okay. All right. Thanks for coming, and just to share with you a little bit where we're at. I'm going to have Courtney Fisher, our communications coordinator, come up and talk to you about the communications that we've provided to the community thus far. We were able to meet with Highland administration early, like the formal meeting was about 9:30. The informal meeting was at 4:30. And so we were able to start discussing how we move forward, both immediate needs, short-term needs, and long-term needs. Then we also met with the staff today at about 11 a.m., and we had about an hour and a half discussion with them as how we move forward. The amount of support from our community just been tremendous. So other community officials have also reached out. We have had support. We have support here from the Department of Education. I've been on the phone with many state officials, from the governor's office to our public superintendent of public instruction, and our representatives here. So we're in a good place to be moving forward. As Mr. Bigelow mentioned, I think it is going to be take some time. This will not be a sprint. It is definitely going to be a marathon. We are hopeful for the best outcome possible and try to return students to that building, but only when it's safe. And so we put together a bit of a plan. I'm going to have Courtney outline some of those details for you, and then I assume we'll have time for some questions after.
Thank you so much. Courtney Fisher, Fisher, and I'm the Communications Coordinator for School District 25. I'll echo Dr. Howell's sentiment that outpouring of love and goodwill and support from this community is always tremendous, and specifically in this instance. And we feel it locally, from elected officials to Idaho State University reaching out to host prom tomorrow for Highland High School students, to statewide elected officials, and everything in between. So we absolutely appreciate that response. Our goal is to communicate well and communicate often, and really just kind of wrap our arms around everybody involved and try to keep them, bring them along with us, so that they feel like they are attuned to what's going on and what those plans are moving forward. We don't have a lot of details to share right now regarding the damage, but we will share those as those details are communicated and confirmed with the officials that are working on the investigation. We are responsible for communicating to our stakeholders, and those stakeholders first and foremost are our learners and their families and our staff members. And our community stakeholders as well. We understand that the community has an investment in public education and Highland High School, and so we will bring the community along with us as much as we can. We are communicating directly with our families through Infinite Campus, which is our emergency messaging system, and then we will be communicating elsewhere with community members through our Facebook page. So please follow School District 25 Facebook page for official updates, and also sd25.us/urgent. That's urgent, URGENT, and we will be sharing all of those updates there. So if you feel like you want to know what's going on with the most up-to-date official communications, please follow and share that information. We really want to make sure that we avoid any rumors or miscommunication through this, so I think it's important for us to band together as a community to make sure we're sharing information from official sources. As Dr. Howell indicated, we do have a preliminary plan. We have an amazing team of administrators from the district office, from Highland High School. Our staff is amazing, our parents are amazing, and so we band together at times like these to make plans for the best plans moving forward. So we have immediate needs. Those immediate needs are being addressed as follows. Tomorrow is prom, and Idaho State University, and Kevin Satterley, President Satterley was here, but he had to take off. But ISU has been tremendous in offering support, and we will be hosting prom at the Pond Student Union Building Ballroom tomorrow as planned at 8:30 for those Highland High School students. Monday, April 24th, we will be canceling school for Highland. On Tuesday, April 24th, we will start a virtual schedule. We already had a virtual day planned, so it is a natural progression for us to keep that virtual day, and then that just kind of leads us naturally into having a virtual schedule for remote learning for the duration of the week. So that will be starting Tuesday, April 25th through Friday, April 28th. And then more details will follow regarding what students and their families can expect for that. Midterm grade posting will be temporarily postponed, and then we will just keep you updated, but that is the schedule as followed, and we will continue to make those plans for the short term, and as Dr. Howe said, this is going to be a long haul, so I just encourage everybody to continue to be patient as we share that information and finalize those plans, but thank you so much.
Okay, so that was pretty much what we had, unless the mayor would like to make a comment. He's walking up, so. Okay.
I'm always going to make a comment. First of all, I would like to thank the community because we have an absolute incredible community here. One of the first phone calls I received was from one of our state representatives, and it was nice to have the state behind us then as well. At that point, I went up to Highland High School as I watched our first responders literally take this giant of a problem and contain it and make it actually save a lot of real estate and save a lot of money in the process. We spend a lot of time with training, and we spend a lot of time and money in that aspect. And it's amazing when all of that training comes to fruition and we get to watch them in action. They did an incredible job. I want to personally thank our firefighters for their actions, the way that they worked. I want to thank our police department, the way that they worked together. I'm very excited to get this process completed so we can move out of the way so the school district can then start with the process of rebuilding and doing what they need to do as far as the school district is concerned. It's incredible to have the Idaho State University in our community that also reached out, one of the first people to reach out and say, what can we do? We're available. I had a number of citizens that said, I have classroom space if the school district needs classroom space to help them finish the school year off. We live in a great community, and I appreciate that. It's amazing when a community comes together like our community has. I would like to just once again thank the firefighters, thank our media for being respectful and allowing our first responders to work. The media stayed out of the way so that they could do the job and get it done, and they waited for the answers. I don't think you get that everywhere else, and so I have to thank the media for that and your response in working with our first responders as well. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you for making Pocatello such a great place to live and having the opportunity to serve. We love serving our community, and right now our school district's in need, and we'll be there with them and for them. So thank you very much.
Okay. So we would, at this time, entertain questions if people have some, and we'll do the best that we can to get them answered.
Shelby Harris, Gas State Journal. Can you comment on why the ATF, Bureau of ATF's involved?
Shane, I'm gonna Shane Grow, our Ops Chief.
Hi, I'm Shane Grow, the Operations Chief, Assistant Chief with the Pocatello Fire Department. The ATF is involved because it's a big commercial public building, and so this isn't atypical of something like this. We are a relatively small department, and so we welcome any help that they can give us. So we contacted the State Fire Marshal. They came down to help us, and the ATF also volunteered to come down and help us. So we took them up on their offer.
Other questions?
Paul Anderson from KZBQ. Was the fire department's ability hampered at all by the loss of a piece of equipment over the weekend from that traffic accident?
Nick. I'm going to turn this over to Nick Christensen. He's our Assistant Chief of Fire Prevention.
We maintain reserve apparatus at each of our stations, so it didn't affect the initial response at all. As we called in people off duty to fill engines, we did reach our limit. We had all of our units that we could staffed and out, but as far as the initial response on the fire, no.
Jim, I don't want to stand up because the camera's not being behind you. The ATF, are they responding from Boise, or are they already here?
I don't know if they have some personnel on site. I believe their team is responding from Denver, so they're not on site.
Matt Davenport, KPVI. This question is for Shane. Was there a loss of water pressure, and did that affect fighting the fire? Did you have to call in extra resources because of it?
We didn't have to call in extra resources. That area, it's pretty standard operation for us to have low water pressure. Those hydrants in that area are what we call green caps, and so they have a lower water pressure. Anytime we flow water from those, we contact the water department, and they can activate the booster pumps. And so we didn't have anything atypical of what our standard operations would be. We were able to contact the water department. They were able to put the booster pumps on quickly and get us the pressure that we needed as soon as they could.
Logan Ramsey with East Idaho News. I didn't catch if you mentioned if there were any injuries or fatalities in the fire.
So there was no injuries or fatalities. Very happy about that.
Shelby with the Journal again. It appears that fire may have started in the cafeteria. Do we have any information on the
No, fire investigators couldn't start until the fire was contained and it's safe for them to enter. So they're just now starting the initial investigation, and it could be days before we get any initial ideas of what could a potential area of origin. So that'll be forthcoming.
On a preliminary basis, has there been anything to indicate that there's anything suspicious?
Not to my knowledge.
Any other questions for the school district? Highland doesn't play tonight, but has there been any adjustments as far as the extracurricular aside from the prom, any of the sporting events?
Absolutely. We've been talking about that. So we have our next turf field is scheduled to go in at Highland beginning May 1st. And we had already relocated and rescheduled a number of events that way. Likewise, our baseball facility there is also under construction. And we're grateful again for community partners that have allowed us to make these expansions. But we have those schedules already in place to be away, essentially. And so at this point, softball, of course, practices and plays at OK Ward Field, baseball at Hallowell Park. And so we feel pretty good about moving forward. We were supposed to host a few events there in the next week. And so those will have to be rescheduled. And our athletic director at the school, Travis Bell, is working with other district officials and also other districts to make sure that those activities continue to happen. Thank you.
Another question for the school district.
You bet.
There's been some social media requests or posts or some chatter within the community about either some GoFundMes or some donations for band equipment, right? I think you talked a little bit about insurance. What would be your recommendation for folks who are interested in trying to fundraise or trying to donate equipment for the individuals that have their band equipment destroyed?
Excellent question. Thank you so much. So we are working with our band director at Highland High School to try to put together some sort of an inventory of those personal items. The band students had actually just returned from an event yesterday at 3 p.m., so they had probably put all their instruments away. And so we will work very expeditiously with our insurance carriers to get those instruments replaced. I'm going to have Courtney take the question about the donation, because that too is a good one. You're right. Social media there's been a frenzy of activity to come in and help and support. So we have a couple ways that we can do that and make it just a little more meaningful and maybe a little more productive. Courtney, please.
Yeah, thank you, Shelby, for the question. So there have been many offers of people offering to set up GoFundMe. We advise that people maybe avoid doing that. There are official avenues for people to donate. At this time, I think it's really important for people to understand we're working very closely with insurance. We have not identified any needs that would require any extra donations or fundraising needs, but we also understand that people want to feel like they're able to do something. So in the event that people do want to contribute to help, should we identify any of those opportunities, they can donate. Highland has a foundation through their high school, so they can donate directly through that foundation. They can also donate directly through the School District Education 25 Foundation. So that's all available online at SD25. You just look up the School District Education Foundation. There's a Venmo there. But we really encourage people to donate if they feel compelled to do so through those official channels. That way we have that control. We know exactly where those funds are going. Donors aren't charged a surcharge. Money goes directly 100% to the schools. So thank you.
So I know someone made a comment about the pets. I know there's a lot of concern and memorabilia of some of those hallways, and is any effort made to save some of those items?
We'll turn that over to Dr. Howell.
So I apologize for my tardiness. In fact, the state fire marshal was there and he needed an authorization to begin the investigation. So I had to run up there. I understand that the hallway may have some of those. Sorry. Wow. Some of those Hall of Fame pictures still intact. And it'll just remain to be seen. But yeah, there are a lot of memories through that hallway. So I hope that we can salvage a few. I hope that someone has copies of those, that we can rebuild that. to some extent. Yeah, thanks.
Shut with the journal. One last question. This was a Highland High School. All the kids in this community are affected by the COVID pandemic 2019-2020, right? Some of these kids are getting close to graduating now. It just seems to be, a lot initially. Now a couple years later, the school burned down. Are there any resources or counseling? Is there anything that's been set up for any students that may need to chat with somebody about what's going on?
Great question again. It has been a rough go for a lot of our students. So we're looking at, we're working with our counselors at Highland High School and also our district support services, which is Tanya Wilkes, and she and the counselors and Highland administration, I think primarily Jenna Wilcox, will be working with that group. We're going to set up some supports, and in fact, there's an online system that we used during COVID. We're going to reactivate that, so if students need a place to come, a place to talk. I think we preliminary talked about using our new Portland Valley Technical Building, the former Allstate building. We have some office space in there. Perhaps we can relocate our Highland administrators there for this week, and who knows what the duration of that might be, as well as some counseling. We would like to also bring back some sense of face-to-face learning, and again, whether that be through our ISU channels or the other community offers that we've had for space, whether it's an AP class or one of our DLP classrooms, which are some of our resource classrooms and some of our special needs students. We want to get them face-to-face as well. So we will be working that out this week, and we'll see to what extent. But again, we want to create those face-to-face opportunities best we can.
Kind of piggybacking off of that answer, have you been in contact with the teachers, staff, faculty at Highland, and have they kind of offered any opinions on how to improve from COVID distant learning and virtual learning?
Again, good question. We met with Highland staff at 11 o'clock this morning, probably just over an hour. Mr. Brad Wallace is here. I'm going to ask Brad to come up and maybe speak to that a little bit and what he's thinking, feeling, hearing, texting, messaging, all sorts of things. But, the staff did say if we're looking at an extended period of time, please let us know now, because the unknown makes it that much more difficult. So we will do our best.
Obviously, this is really early on. Are you expecting a long period of virtual learning at this point?
I am hopeful that it is not, but I think realistically, again, based upon what we've heard, the preliminary indication from the fire department is that there could be potentially a great deal of water in some of those lower hallways. And so, this morning I thought, we could be back in the building maybe in a couple of weeks. And just looking at the amount of damage that has been caused as we think about demolition to that damaged structure, keeping our learners safe, I don't know what that looks like yet, but it could. Today is midterm, so we are at 6 weeks before the end of school, and we'll already extend 1 week, as we mentioned, into virtual classrooms. And so that balance of 5 weeks, unless they give us the go-ahead and say structurally, mechanically, it is safe, then we will be looking at alternatives. Brad, would you like to come up and just comment about the staff and maybe any thoughts that you have? Sorry to pull you out.
Brad Wallace, I'm the principal at Highland High School. It's been an emotional day today, and so as we met with staff, after we met with staff, we also met with our student government students to gain feedback from them, like was asked about what could we do to improve the situation if we have to go virtual. And so we had some good feedback from our student government students who have been through that, and we're listening to them. Like Dr. Howell said, the goal is to have some face-to-face time, whether that's in a hybrid situation, but all that remains to be determined on on how things move forward. We are overwhelmed by the community support, the love that we have felt. You don't realize, when you're in a building, it seems silly that a building could have such an emotional impact. We were thankful that no one was hurt, but we're all hurt. Alumni have been reaching out, and it hurts when a building that you have been in and have memories and experiences that are tied into that building is destroyed. That's hard. So we are grateful for the support. It's been, like I said, overwhelming how many people have reached out from all over the nation and willing to help to any way they can. So we're thankful for that. Any questions for me?
This is kind of similar to what you were already talking about, but what's been the reaction from the teachers and staff that you talked to as happening?
Great question. So our teachers are student focused, and that was their first concern. Their questions were directed to how can we support students? How can we make sure that their grades are in? How can we make sure that our students that are going to take the AP test are supported? How can we make sure that our students with special needs have the resources that they need, and that we're supporting them? So that's been the main reaction. And I know that teachers are reaching out to students already to check on them and make sure that they're okay. Good question.
Any other questions? Okay.
This might be kind of a weird question, but from when we were looking at the initial pictures when the fire was happening, it looked massive, like the whole thing was going to burn down. I'm kind of wondering how the fire department managed to contain the fire to the area that it was in.
Good question. I'm going to turn it over to Shane Grow to answer that. He's our ops chief.
Thanks. I'm gonna try to explain. We do a lot of training on commercial structures. The vast majority of what the fire looked like was from hydrocarbons burning. The roof is made of a membrane that's a rubber plastic membrane that burns. There's a lot of plastic in carpet and interior finishes that we have. So we were fortunate that this type of building is constructed as safe as possible. It has fire breaks, it has fire doors, it has fire suppression systems, and so we were able to, because we're familiar with this building, we were able to know where those fire breaks were, kind of draw a line in the sand at that fire break, and take it from there and just hold our ground. And those construction techniques and safety things that our building inspectors and Fire Prevention Bureau insist on, and code officials insist on, really made the difference, and that's kind of why we were able to hold our ground and keep it from spreading throughout the rest of the building.
Any other questions?
Was there any construction or remodeling going on at the time?
I would turn that over to the school district.
Nothing on the interior. Everything that we're doing, we're looking at the exterior of the building. Yep.
Anybody else with questions? Okay, so I appreciate everybody coming. Again, we will try to keep our information coming out via our Nixle, which also is shared via social media, and then also following the school districts. We'll be putting out anything as it pertains to the students and moving forward. So thank you and have a good afternoon.